What is good, YouTube world? It's Jay Coffee Talk. Tapping back in with some news. Haven't put much content out today. Had a long day, you know what I mean? Lot going on. But anyways, we got some news to get off into. We got a quick, short, small update regarding Eminem and Azizz. We're going to get to that. But you peeped, I said that. It's a small update. Other cats out there are stretching a whole video talking on and on about it. Come on, man. Like, I'm trying to get to different topics and whatnot. You feel me? But there's people out there just stretching the content out, bullshitting, clickbaiting. I don't know. It is what it is. But we'll get to all that in a moment. I just got a couple quick topics to get into, and then even a more interesting topic after the whole Eminem jump off. But anyways, first off, quick NFL news. Jason Witten, longtime tight end, you know what I'm saying, been in the game a minute. He's a beast. He's came out and said he's retiring. As we know, Witten had left Dallas and was playing with the Raiders. And I tell you, my Bills played the Raiders last year. Witten could still hang. He could still play a couple more years in the NFL, but I don't know. He's calling it a day. He's going to retire. That's one less really great tight end in the league. Having a great tight end is very important. You know what I mean? For all the football fans out there, you're already knowing. But he's going to sign a one-day contract with the Cowboys, do it right, and retire as a Dallas Cowboy. So that's it for the whole NFL story. Moving along, Loki Shmula, right? Now, listen, I personally like Loki Shmula and his music, man. I was supposed to interview him before. I don't know what happened. But whenever I cover him, a lot of people are like, yo, Jay, get this guy off the channel. You know what I'm saying? They call him a clout chaser. I don't know. I always kind of look at him like he just speaks what's on his mind. I don't know. I guess everyone's clout chasing nowadays, really, if you look at it. And everyone kind of always has been to a degree, right? It's just, I guess, how you go about doing it. But nonetheless, man, we know he was calling 6ix9ine out from way early on in that whole 6ix9ine craze that was going on. And now he's calling out this dude, CJ. I'm sure you guys seen him. He had that big smash. What's that song called? Whoopty. French Montana, I guess, offered him a deal, but he went somewhere else. But I guess French gave him a Coke Boys chain and all that. Loki shared this caption on the gram. He said, yo, this CJ dude is the new 6ix9ine, talking about he's only been blood for 6 months. Now, the CJ dude's got that smash, like I said, Whoopty. He's a drill rapper, and we know in the drill game, it gets kind of crazy, right? You know what I'm saying? It's all about the streets, about getting active in the streets. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Hit the comments, guys, fans of drill artists. What do you guys think of this dude, CJ? I mean, we already know a lot of rappers, it's only an image. But we see a lot of crazy shit happen with a lot of these drill rappers, you know. But nonetheless, Loki saying CJ is just playing a part. He just got down with whatever set. I seen someone else telling this dude, too, quit talking about you're claiming New York, you're from Long Island. I mean, I'm not like all the New York cats in the comments. Like, I know Long Island obviously ain't in a borough. But how do y'all look at, like, Long Island? Do you, like, there's some dope, Keith Murray, Eric Sermon. Wasn't Rakim even from Long Island? Like, there's a lot of dope people that come out of Long Island, man. I don't know. But nonetheless, Loki Shmula has started dissing this kid CJ. So hit the comments with your thoughts on that. But that leads me into this, not last thing that I'm going to cover, but the Eminem Azizz situation, right? So we already seen Azizz been pushing his campaign. He ain't stopping anytime soon, right? And then we saw Young Z do his interview. Jay Coffee was supposed to get an interview. It didn't happen, though. It is what it is, right? But Young Z shot it all down. You know, everything. Like, he basically was saying Azizz is being ridiculous the way he's taking aim at Eminem. And he also went on to, you know, tell him, like, Azizz, you weren't even really in the music like that. You weren't even really hands-on. You weren't no RZA. And then we saw Azizz come back and say he was indeed the RZA. Well, now we see some other cats out of Brick City. This Pistol Pack Posse did an interview, And this is what I'm talking about. They said one thing about Azizz and Eminem, or like two things. They spoke on it very briefly, and people are out there making a whole video on it. Like, come on, man. Like, stop it. All that they said is what I was more interested in is all the Jersey artists they were talking about and what they had to say about Redman and Redman and Jay-Z and DMX and the Outlaws. And I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But regarding in the Fugees too, but regarding Eminem and Azizz, they basically said that to them, they talked about how Eminem was on with the Outsidaz, was chilling with the Outsidaz, and they said that Eminem stole Slang Ton and Azizz style. They came out and said it. Now listen, from the jump when I started reporting on this whole story, Eminem, Azizz, the Outsidaz, all that, I was very happy to be talking about the Outsidaz, right? If you guys recall, you've watched all my videos, all J Coffee Talks videos on this whole situation. The very first thing I was saying is I called them the legendary Outs. You know what I mean? Being a hip hop fan from way back, growing up in this era, these dudes are dope to me. And if you recall in that video, I told y'all how I was a big Redman fan. So I was very familiar with who the Outsidaz were through listening to Redman music. I heard of the Outs. I dug in more, listened to Outsidaz music. You know what I'm saying? If y'all remember. But they said Eminem stole Slang Ton style and Azizz style. And since I've been covering this whole story, I've been talking to different people who DM me and stuff like that. That's what's so beautiful about the internet. You know what I'm saying? People can find you via social media, hit you up, and talk to you, and they spoke about how the Outsidaz is a big group. These dudes, the Pistol Pack Posse, said the same thing, how there's like 12 Outsidaz, you know? And, you know, what happens with families sometimes is they fight. Families fight. Brothers fight. Like, listen, I hate my brother. I don't even talk, like, that's a whole nother thing, but I'm sure, you know, anyone out there, family problems sometimes run deeper than any issues. But anyway, since I've been talking to all these dudes, they also been telling me, R.I.P. Slang Ton, J Coffee, go listen to Slang Ton's music. Tell me if you don't see a little bit of Eminem flow, especially what Eminem was really breaking through into the game with. You know what I'm saying? With that Slim Shady EP and the Slim Shady LP. Tell me you don't hear Slang Ton, and tell me you don't hear a touch of the Outs on there. And it is what it is, man. And when I've heard the Outsidaz speak about this, a lot of them, that I'm saying, that ain't even trying to diss Eminem, they said that they were, happy for Eminem. And if even Azizz, if you listen to a lot of Azizz interviews that are before this whole beef situation where he's really on this campaign against Eminem, he flat out said when M started getting on, the Outs were pretty much already on because a lot of them had deals and stuff like that. So Azizz flat out said himself, they were pushing Eminem more than themselves. They were promoting him. They had no issue with it. You know what I mean? But it's just M didn't come back and flock with them, And that's part of his issue here. And he keeps talking about that DVD. You guys let me know if you watched it. The Untold Story of Detroit Hip Hop. I went and watched it, you know what I mean? He's saying Eminem did the same thing to Champtown and those guys there, and his own mans, you know what I'm saying? The Basement Productions and Soul Intent. What happened to them guys? He forgot about them, and rest in peace, Chaos Kid, who took his own life. But let me know, everyone, what you think about all this, what I'm talking about here. That's what I was gonna say too. How I've been talking to a lot of people who know the Outsidaz, who've been DMing me. They all tell me that they think that Slang Ton was the nicest out of all the Outs. You know what I mean? So hit the comments, guys. Let me know if you believe that to be true. If you ask me, it's clear that Eminem picked up a little bit from everyone that he worked with back in the day. Maybe some more than others. This happens with all rappers. You know what I'm saying? Artists, they transform who they are as an artist, and they take a little bit, and they might put their spin on it, and it goes into their identity as an artist and a rapper. You know what I mean? That's just is what it is. But he spoke about real quick before I move on to the other Jersey stuff. Something's going on here though. Like, comment, guys, what do you think? How can Young Z be saying Azizz is just 100% full of shit? You know what I mean? And then how are these guys the Pistol Pack Posse co-signing what Azizz says. And it's not like they just jumped on everything Azizz said and was talking about nothing but him. That's just something they mentioned and moved on and talked about. You feel me? So, I don't know, hit the comments. How can both people be right? Or are they both kind of right and one's wrong? Like, I don't know what's going on here. Young Z saying one thing, these dudes are saying something else. But they talked about a lot of other Jersey artists, which, like I said, I enjoyed and thought was dope. I mentioned this in another video. Being that I'm from Buffalo, New York, in Buffalo, until now, Griselda put us on the map. I keep bringing this up. We get looked at as like an off-brand city and corny or something like that. And I was just talking about with that CJ kid in Long Island, how people try to take shots at Long Island. New Jersey gets the same stigma sometimes where people, you know what I'm saying, look at them and say, from New York City, look over across the way and say, them guys are farmers over there and ish like that. You know what I mean? So I always liked that New Jersey artists were kind of underdogs as well. Like back then, Buffalo was really underdog, so I related to it. You know what I mean? But now, like I said, we got Griselda, got the whole city buzzing. But you heard what they brought up. Redman said, that Redman, like out of all the New Jersey artists, they felt that Redman did the most for the city and kept it super hood. You know what I mean? They told a story about Redman going up in stores and smashing up people's bootlegs of Redman music right in the stores. He wasn't having it. Redman and Eminem always have been very close and still are to this day. Very cool. But one of the guys in this Pistol Pack Posse, Mad Sue, he said, you can't complain in this game if you don't get on and you got people that do. He said, me and Redman are really close, really cool. You've heard him shout me out if you listen to his music. And he said that he was barely on any Redman stuff. There's some pictures with him. They were behind the scenes at the Hard Knock Life tour with Redman. And he went on Summer Jam, with Redman, you know what I mean? But they just said it's just when people get on they can only do what they can do and you can't get mad at them for it. And he said that a lot of times too, when guys are trying to get in the game, they might have situations with other labels and then it limits to what, the dude who's really doing it can do, that the labels get in the way. But it was just dope to hear them talk about Redman as, he's the truth, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? One of my favorites of all time. He's just so dope. Like I said, that Muddy Waters album from '96 was the truth to me. You know what I mean? I know that album from beginning to end, in and out. And Doc's The Name 2000 was the truth also. Now, an interesting story that they told about being on the Hard Knock Life tour, which is so crazy because I just did a video about the Hard Knock Life tour like yesterday. They went on to say DMX got beat by one of their mans battling behind the scenes. But, DMX tries to not talk about it and they try to flip the narrative. And they said, dude was, the dude that beat X. We always look at X as being such a wild one. That X was kind of acting a little scared and was just taken back by the dude and then spit a verse from an album in a battle. And that's a no-no. And I got to say, I feel like I've seen X do that before. Like if you see some old footage, X be using verses sometimes that you've heard on other stuff that he had like written, like, you know what I mean? I don't know. Y'all let me know what you think about that. But they did mention one more thing too I got to bring up about Eminem, that he shot the Not Afraid video in Newark. That's something else a lot of people have been hitting me DM and talking about. And that laundromat. That was what another one of the dudes tapped in with the Outsidaz told me. That's where Eminem came with that on that song at the laundromat, where all the raunchy, fat, white, trashy blondes be at. That there was a laundromat out there in Newark where a lot of the Outsidaz used to post up outside. You know what I mean? Like they were there all the time. And they said if you go to that laundromat, still to this day, the Outsidaz names and Eminem's name, Bizarre, and all that is tagged on the wall. They brought up the Fugees, right? How the Fugees, they said, Clef took everyone's money and screwed everyone over in their opinion. But they said that the Fugees are kind of responsible for Eminem in a way because they helped get the outs on. You know what I mean? That they helped get the Outsidaz on. And then that's where, Eminem ended up finding his way to get his foot in the door. And I got to say, too, with the Fugees, man, Clef is responsible for, Cannabis, too, really trying to take him to the next level. Don't get me wrong. Cannabis was already doing his thing, but in their relationship soured. And I'm going to do a video about that. But you heard them too. They were talking about how Queen Latifah got her money and just never showed any love to Jers. You know, they brought up Naughty by Nature, who's dope, got a lot of classic records and everything like that. But listen, did you hear them mention the Outlaws and Tupac? People forget that the Outlaws are from New Jersey. You know what I'm saying? That Pac used to fuck around in New Jersey. But I don't know, man. That's all I really got, guys. Just hit with the comments on everything I touched on. I know when I got to this whole thing about New Jersey and what the Pistol Pack Posse were talking about here, I just kind of started spitballing or whatever. But I don't know. I really like these artists that these guys were talking about, and I like the nostalgia that I got from listening to that interview. You know what I mean? Because, like I said, it takes me back to when I was really into hip hop like that. So let's talk about it all. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'm gone.